Gareth, I'm 28 years old and I've got terminal cancer. I was first diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma in 2014 in my pelvis. My GP initially thought that I had slipped a disc or pulled a muscle in my bone. And then later on an MRI scan would reveal that I had a tumour at the base of my spine, the size of 2 tennis balls. I underwent some really intense chemo and radiotherapy and enjoyed 2 years cancer-free before it came back in my lungs. I beat it for a second time, but a year later it was back again, this time in my lungs and lymph nodes. In November last year, after only 6 months cancer-free and a stem cell transplant, I found out it was back for a 4th time, now in my lungs, lymph nodes and the brain. Ewing sarcoma is a rare type of bone or soft tissue cancer. It mostly affects teenagers and young adults. It sits within a family of cancers called sarcomas. I've been very lucky, as so far my cancer has been responsive to chemo every time. And because of that and that alone, I've been able to travel over the last 7 years, go to concerts and festivals, do a job I really enjoy, and most importantly, watch Liverpool win the Premier League. After my most recent diagnosis, I thought, okay, it is what it is. I'm just going to be on chemo for a very long time. But then my oncologist explained something to me. And what I really need is a maintained drug to keep my cancer under control. But one doesn't exist yet. So I sat down pretty much straight away and wrote my bucket list. On that list were things like getting married and travelling to a number of countries that we haven't been to yet. All of those things are proving to be a bit difficult at the minute due to the pandemic. One thing on that list, which is still possible at the moment, however, is raising as much money as I can for Sarcoma UK. So me and my wife put our heads together on what we could do, fundraising, and I really wanted to take on a challenge. So I wanted to cycle the length of the country from Land's End to John O'Groats whilst on chemotherapy. So I was training for the ride, I was on chemotherapy, and the fatigue was tough, and I picked up a few injuries along the way. But overall, it was generally one of the best experiences of my life. And yeah, in total we raised £116,000. And one of the things that come out of the back of that was a Pride of Britain award for the London region, which I feel so lucky to have won. 2 weeks later, we got married at the Eden Project, which was an amazing venue, an amazing day. But then when we went on a honeymoon to Antigua, sadly, I got a brain swell on the flight, so had to leave our honeymoon early after only having 4 days. In December, I received the news that the cancer has spread to 8 new locations, and obviously on the back of that, the prognosis is very poor. But I'm still cracking on with treatment at the minute and doing the things I enjoy, and making the most of every day, making memories. And I'm still very keen to keep fundraising for Sarcoma UK.
The frontline drugs used to treat sarcoma sadly haven't moved forward for the last 40 years. Sarcoma UK receives very little government funding, and were it not for the work widely done by fundraisers, Sarcoma UK wouldn't be able to exist. I'm now a member of the Glitter Ball committee and have seen firsthand the amount of work that's gone into this event. So yeah, it is worth mentioning that the ticket costs only just covers the sort of expenses and yeah, the sort of cost of the evening. So please do be generous, buy your raffle tickets, get involved with the auction. I think Gaz's terminal diagnosis gave him a voice, and he's used that to raise £116,000 for Sarcoma UK, and also a lot of awareness. And I'm just really pleased that something good has been able to come from yeah, a very, very sad situation.
Yeah, taking something negative and turning it into something positive, which is what I wanted to do the whole way through this sort of last year and a half. And I think that was my message at the very beginning of our journey on the fundraising side of stuff.
Yeah, and just making your time count.
Yeah.